Welcome back to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Golseth.
Many families may be homeschooling, either continuing homeschool as their regular practice or maybe venturing into homeschooling this year. And we have a great curriculum to share with you if you're looking to get physical, like actually moving, physical activity for homeschool this year. So joining us today, Coach Jody Token. She's coach with and founder of The Great Flip. Coach Jody, welcome back to the Coffee Hour.
Thanks for having me.
Always fun to get to chat with you. And I guess, I don't think we're throwing anybody around today. We don't have video, so we won't be throwing anybody around.
No, Sarah and I can't do crazy things like we did a couple of years ago. That was fun.
That was super fun.
So I mentioned that you have a curriculum that can be used by homeschool families, and I know that it can be adapted in a number of ways. But what's important to you as you develop a curriculum?
Well, first, I want to just commend all these parents who might be homeschooling their kids for the very first time. And even if it's for the 1,000,000th time, you always have that little moment of leap of faith when you homeschool your kids. You feel like you're breaking out of some norm that you feel obligated to do. And I'm just really excited for parents, especially this year, of all the stuff we've been through. They pretty much feel like they've already been homeschooling their kids anyway, so why not jump completely in and homeschool their kids? And I was looking at Psalm 139 the other day, and I know it's kind of like our common pro-life verse, but I saw it in a homeschool way where our kids are intricately woven, and God made your child for you, and you know how they learn and what they want to learn, and give them and expose them to some things that only they might be excited about, that they may not get in a normal school environment. So good for you, Mom and Dad, for homeschooling your kids. So with that in mind, The Great Flip is an online learning experience, but you're standing up, you're not sitting in front of your computer like you do all day, which it's really important to get our kids away from their computers and stand up and move. And from my martial arts experience, we went into a martial arts academy and started learning self-defense skills. I wanted my daughters to be healthy and have some skills before they went out into the big, wide, scary world. And it was a little overwhelming for them, on top of their fear of maybe bullies or bad guys, and even now today, germs. I took that experience home. I'm like, there's got to be a fun way to learn self-defense and expose them and introduce them to a martial art in a safe way where the parent can control the conversation, they can control the environment and keep it safe and fun and clean, and expose them to something very different that is outside of the norms of, hey, kids, it's PE time in our homeschool schedule, and they don't know what to do. They've got everything in line. They've got their math and their science and their reading, but homeschool PE is like, go outside and do some jumping jacks. Well, that's fine, but let's make it a more realistic and more structured experience for the kids. So that's what I did. I created an experience for parents that they can really introduce them to a martial arts experience right there in their own house.
And it gives you a good life skill, too. So this isn't something like, running around the block, which some kids may enjoy doing, I don't know, or taking a bike ride. But this actually gives kids a life skill that is useful for them and gives them a little bit of a confidence boost, too, which is nice.
If your kids struggle with any kind of fear and anxiety, I know martial arts and learning self-defense just boosted their confidence and helped them overcome a lot of the fear. And it dealt with anxiety. We know that exercise helps deal with anxiety and fear because they're getting their body moving and their hormones and everything are moving around. So definitely a more structured, fun, useful character development purpose.
Sure. So this is a homeschool curriculum. What is the age group? Who is this meant for?
Yeah, so whether you're in first grade or high school, I would say the ideal age of kids that have really enjoyed it the most are elementary and middle school. As they get into high school, it may seem a little bit more simple. So that grade school, K through 8th grade experience, no martial arts experience required. The lesson plans, the videos are step-by-step instructions to give them that experience. So really the middle school and K through 8th experience is perfect. It was piloted at a Lutheran school, so I watched the kids do it, and I taught it at a YMCA, so I know. And those were first and second graders, so I know that it really works well for those. And it's progressive. Anyone can do it. A jumping jack when they're in first grade. It looks different when you're 18 years old, but it's that progression of your motor skills that you can continue to use that over and over again.
So this is an opportunity for kids to develop skills and also physical activity. What does this do for parents as well? You mentioned, watching your daughters, and you even took the next step and learned alongside your daughters too while they were learning martial arts. What does this do for parents as students are learning through this curriculum?
They get to have this amazing bonding experience with their kids, number one. Usually when you go to a martial arts academy, you put them in the room on the floor and the mat, and the parents are sitting outside watching. You get to actually do this with them. You watch the videos, you read the lesson plan, and you have to have a training buddy. And usually your mom and dad gets to be your training partner. And so if you're going to try this skill, a wrist escape or some kind of ground movement, you're doing it with your child. So not only is your child learning the skill, but you are too. And most people don't have martial arts experience. So it's a great experience for the whole family. And there's nothing better than that physical time with your child. For me, when my daughters were in high school, there's a little bit less hugging going on. You get more eye rolls from your older kids. But now it's like, okay, we're going to practice these skills together. And it was really kind of it's intentional wrestling, intentional hugging. So it was really fun to hang out with my daughters that way.
So you've mentioned the wrist escape and ground movement. So what are some of these skills that people will be able to learn through this curriculum?
Yeah, so my background is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and that's a grappling sport. And Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu we thought was best for our daughters because when a fight happens in real life, it's usually taken to the ground. And that's where Jiu-Jitsu specializes in that ground movement where you can control your partner on the ground, or if you're on the ground, you've learned how to escape from the ground. And most martial arts are stand-up, like karate and taekwondo, and all those are amazing martial arts experience. But I believe that Jiu-Jitsu is more real-life application. So you get on the ground, roll around, you learn how to manage your distance. You learn how to close distance to protect yourself from being punched. I don't teach kids. I remember this question last time. Our children will not learn how to karate chop each other, so they can't go use this on their little brother or sister later on. They have to learn how to escape situations and really connect their body to their mind as they do these movements. So it's a safe approach to introducing them to self-defense and martial arts.
What do I, as a parent, learn? You mentioned you don't necessarily have to have a martial arts background or a background in physical education. So in this curriculum, there would be everything that I would need in order for my child to learn the skill, and I might get to learn alongside them.
Correct. So what you will need physically is some good mats. I have just those interlocking mats at my house. You can buy those folding gymnastic mats. You can go to your church or school and borrow some mats for I know a lot of people would just borrow mats and then bring them back. Literally, even actually the teenage high school kids they watch the video with their children and you learn the skills together. So it seems like it should be difficult, but it's really a simple thing to learn and to do with your kids.
Mm-hmm. What kind of space requirements do you need? And can you do this outside? How does the curriculum actually work? Because you mentioned it's online.
Yeah.
So how does that actually look to actually do this curriculum in a house?
Right. So you'll need, like a 4x6 space. You don't need a lot of space. I'm not going to have people, you're right, being thrown around. No lamp shades will be, flying off the table or anything. But you will need mats. You will need a good Wi-Fi connection. You will be streaming all the videos from Vimeo. So if you wanted to go to vimeo.com/The Great Flip, you can find all my public videos. There are some on YouTube as well. And of course, my website, thegreatflip.com. I can send everybody a link to a free video to see what what they look like. They're not something that you'd find on YouTube in somebody's garage. These were well-produced videos with another great instructor. And then you see girls from every age, from first grade through high school, trying the technique in the video. So it helps you see how that's going to apply to your child's movement.
Now, in your case, this was something the Lord has blessed you with girls, and so you wanted your girls to have these skills, but you have really developed this to be accessible for all kids, boys and girls.
Yes. It's definitely a girl-motivated curriculum because I understand that girls want and need encouragement and confidence building versus boys, maybe the more discipline. I don't know. I'm just guessing out loud. But that's how a lot of martial arts academies were too. And that's why the other reason I developed this, it was a very rigid format, but a parent, again, can control how they want their martial arts experience to happen in their home. And I also wanted to have that a body movement connected to a spiritual application. So we get to talk about our faith. Kids are always more willing to share things when they're doing something else. So when they're learning a self-defense skill, and we talk about using your voice as your first line of self-defense, we can talk about, what does God say about your voice? And what does his voice say about you? And so you can make those spiritual applications. And there's just a few little talking points in each lesson plan that helps a parent add a spiritual element to their PE curriculum, which is pretty cool.
How can we find out more and find the curriculum?
Yeah, so thegreatflip.com is my website. And again, just send me an email or contact through my website for a free lesson plan and a free video, and I'll help people get set up. Of course, now we're doing Zoom calls and stuff. I'll even do like a live, chat if we want to train together. But thegreatflip.com is the best place to go.
So will my soon-to-be 8-year-old be flipping me on the mat by the middle of the school year?
Absolutely.
Hey, learning how to flip people is super cool.
I'm sure he would be thrilled.
It's very empowering. You might want to get a little bit thicker mat if he's going to actually. Yeah. We do teach like a setup to a flip. Now, I'll say in the video, don't actually, flip your parent. Or if you have soft mats, go for it.
Yeah. I'm sure our neighbors below us will really appreciate that. Our guest today, Coach Jody Token. She's coach and founder of The Great Flip, thegreatflip.com. Thanks so much for sharing this wonderful curriculum with us. So many families can use it as part of their homeschool curriculum, or maybe it's something supplementary if you're doing all virtual school this year, or just a great way to connect with your child at home doing something physical. Thanks so much for being our guest on the Coffee Hour.
My pleasure. Thank you.
I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
The Coffee Hour with Andy and Sarah is a production of KFUO. To support the Coffee Hour and KFUO Radio, visit KFUO.org. You can also text KFUO to 41444 or send an email to gifts@KFUO.org. And you can call us at 800-844-0524. KFUO. Christ for you, anytime, anywhere.